I want to do a little analysis of Diigo as a tool that could potentially support helping encourage high school students who are doing independent research projects to collaboratively support each other and augment their learning. I think that allowing students to do independent research projects is a great way of increasing motivation because they get to choose what they want, but often the individual nature of it discourages collaboration, whether that's just because it would take too much time to kind of seek out all your classmates and say, here, I found some things that might be useful to your independent project too, because they don't necessarily know all the details of what someone else is researching and what they need. Or they're just sort of afraid maybe of someone else getting credit for all the work they did, or frankly, their motivation is on finding things for their project. There's no real motivation to share and help others, because what credit does the student get for any good work that a classmate may do on an independent project? So here's why I think Diigo can actually help to augment learning in that kind of an assignment. Because there's already a self-motivation to bookmark your own, those resources that you find because you want to go back and use them. And that's where I think Diigo is useful, because I can be on my computer at home, I can be on a computer at school, I can be using Google Chrome, I can be using Safari, I can be using my iPhone, and I think Diigo is more useful than just a normal bookmark function, because unlike right now, where if I use Safari and I bookmark something, it doesn't pop up on my bookmarks in Firefox, which is really annoying. Diigo can keep track of all those bookmarks, and I don't have to like remember which browser I was using or which computer or whatever when I found it. So I think that there's an intrinsic motivation that students would see and realize to using Diigo to bookmark things while they're doing an independent research project. The other function of why they would have an intrinsic motivation is because of the highlighting and the sticky notes function. They, instead of having to take notes like separately on a separate piece of paper or on a separate computer, or go back and forth between like their Word document and the website, the sticky notes function in Diigo allows them to kind of put all their notes there, and then they can easily go back and sift through them when it comes time to sitting down and starting to outline the paper. So I think there's a couple intrinsic motivations to use Diigo when you are doing an independent research project. How does that help augment the collaboration? Well, if you have a group in Diigo, then and people are tagging, and there's some kind of discussion at some point in the class about certain overlapping topics, like let's say imperialism, or poverty, or I don't know, environmental sustainability, things like that. Things where I could be, my focus for my research topic could be orphans in Zimbabwe, but poverty is going to come up. Imperialism is probably going to come up as a topic that I need to know something about in order to do my research more effectively. So if the class has some of those collectively understood tags, then when I get to that point in my research where I go, oh crap, I need a whole section now on imperialism in Africa, I can go to the group Diigo spot and look for tags that other people have found on imperialism in Africa, and see what else people have found already, and see the kind of little annotations highlighting notes that other people, they've done some of the legwork already. And I'm not plagiarizing, and I don't think that another person gets less credit for finding the work originally. It almost makes my researching quicker and more efficient, but I still have to process. Even if I'm only reading what my classmate highlighted, I still have to process what that means. I still have to figure out how to uniquely incorporate that information into my paper. So even though it's making my research a little quicker, I don't think it's cheating. I don't think it's using someone else's knowledge and just copying and pasting it into my paper. Also, what's cool is that over time, if you have kids from year to year to year doing similar topics, you kind of can develop this repository of information that, it's almost like one generation of students can hand off some useful things to a second generation of students, which is, it's kind of nice in the sense of it almost creates a sense of community, I would think. But there isn't that sort of competitive edge, like if I let you use something, either you'll get credit where I won't, or I'll get in trouble because I let you copy my work. So I think there's some interesting possibilities for Diigo in a learning environment where students are being asked to do independent research, but then encouraging collaboration, which is often challenging.